gentlemen, it is 7 o'clock. At this time, we will call, God willing, the last city council meeting of the year to order. And at this time, we'd like to take roll call.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Banks.
Here.
Councilmember Budaszewski.
Here.
Councilmember Deschler.
Here.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Here.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have an agenda before us. I am looking for a motion on that agenda. Brendan?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, awesome. Nancy?
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any comments or discussions on that? Seeing none, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, we have our chief, Revering, here to do some presentations. She's got a couple of appearances. Take it away.
I am. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I really appreciate it. As you know, this year, I can't see you when I put these on.
I can't see you with the glasses.
Getting old.
Interesting.
As you know, this year we changed our process a little bit, where instead of the mayor swearing in someone right away, we swear them in, the mayor comes in, and then we want to introduce you to the folks when they are actually off probation. And so this is Officer Antoine Martin, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, and now I can put these on, and if I look at you with weird eyes, you'll know why. Okay, Officer Antoine Martin grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota with his mother, April. As a child, he described himself as a quiet kid who liked video games, basketball, and biking in the neighborhood with his friends. He credits his mom as being his inspiration and the rock behind his success. Antoine graduated from De La Salle High School in 2000 and held a number of random jobs, including retail sales, warehouse, maintenance, and security. He graduated from Normandale Community College with an associate's degree in liberal arts in 2010. In 2011, he began working with People's Inc., an organization that works with people struggling with mental illness and or chemical dependency issues. Antoine says that he learned a tremendous about the challenges of mental health and chemical issues during his 6 years with People's Inc., and this work gave him a passion for people in these situations. Antoine says he decided he wanted to become a police officer in elementary school when he was in the DARE program and got to know his DARE officer. Many years later, he was chosen as a police cadet with the Minneapolis Police Department. He completed his skills program at Hennepin Technical College and successfully completed the Minneapolis Police Officer Academy, being sworn in as an officer in 2017 and working there for approximately 1 year. Minneapolis's loss is definitely Crystal's gain. When Antoine applied with the Crystal Police Department, he said, being a law enforcement officer is something I've always wanted to do. My passion for helping people exceeds anything that I've ever felt before. Antoine's references describe him as being loyal, calm, level-headed, hardworking, genuine, friendly, reliable, trustworthy, non-judgmental, a great asset, and a great problem solver. These are all qualities we look for in officers that are going to join the Crystal team, and Antoine has demonstrated all of these traits and so many more during his time with us. Antoine began his initial training on December 17th, 2018, and tonight marks the completion of his probationary status. He has been an outstanding addition to our community, and we are excited for him to be with us for years to come. Antoine currently lives in Minneapolis, and in his free time, enjoys spending time with his son Jace and his family, exercising, biking, and fishing. Please join us in congratulating Antoine Martin.
Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations.
It's good to see you again.
Congratulations. Again? You flew over already?
We rode together a national night out.
Oh, okay.
Just to clarify. He would not drive the speed limit I asked him to, but oh well.
All right. One more.
One more. So I'm going to call up Mr. Joel Franz. Come on up, sir. So as you know, my predecessor was smart enough to start looking at our citizens and community to start a crime prevention board back in 2009. And Joel was one of the first people that came forward, and we were lucky enough to have him on the board since then. I'll also say that Joel is a retired deputy police chief from the city of Plymouth, and he lives here in Crystal. And so we were fortunate when he came forward in 2009 and said to us that he would be a part of this board, because not only was he volunteering his time for the past 10 years, but he was also sharing his knowledge in law enforcement and also showing what he could do for his community. So we were greatly appreciated. So unfortunately, Joel, after 10 years of service, has decided to hang it up, and I told him he couldn't, but you know, he's older than I am. So I listen to my elders. I probably shouldn't say that, really. I mean, but I do listen to my elders. So with that said, Joel Franz, thank you for your volunteer services and your role as treasurer of the Crystal Crime Prevention Board 2009 to 2019. Thank you, sir.
Just want to say it was a great honor to be a part of the board, and it is in good hands, I'll tell you that, as there's some new members now and some new blood, and I'm excited to see where it's going. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am done, sir.
All right, thank you. It's always nice to have the chief come in and highlight some of these moments for us. So, next on our agenda, we will read the consent agenda into the record. I have to find it first. All right, here it is. I'm sorry. Approval of the minutes from the following meetings. I believe we have two of them. The City Council meeting on December 3rd, 2019, and the work session from that same date. And then approval of license applications submitted by the city clerk to the City Council. That list is on file in the office of the city clerk. And then approval of a resolution accepting the following donations: ping pong table from Deanna and Gordy Lane for Crystal Recreation, and $5,000 from West Metro Fire Relief Association for the 2020 Crystal Frolics. And then the approval of appointments and reappointments to the Environmental Quality Commission, Parks and Rec Commission, and Planning Commission. And the final item is the approval of a resolution appointing a citizen representative to the West Metro Fire Rescue District Board. That is our consent agenda. Looking for a motion on that? Julie?
I'll move approval of the consent agenda as read.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second? Therese? Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We have open forum next. The City Council appreciates hearing from its citizens about items of concern and desires to set aside some time for each meeting for open forum. It provides an opportunity for all to speak. This time is limited to 3 minutes per person, 10 minutes per topic. Sometimes, depending on the issue, I may extend that. By rule, no action may be taken on any item brought before the council on open forum. The council may place these items on a future or subsequent meeting agenda, however. We do have Bob Bellows here to speak on, I'm not sure what topic. It says open forum. Bob, would you please step forward?
Good evening, members of the City Council, Mr. Mayor. My name is Robert Bellows Sr. I reside at 6616 58th Avenue North. The reason I came down here is I called Julie yesterday, and it's about panhandling on Bass Lake Road, West Broadway, and it's getting to the point where it's causing accidents. I've also had that happen to me inside the shopping center going to the gym. Currently, Julie has indicated that there is something in the works for panhandling. Is that correct?
We actually just talked about it in the work session based on your phone call before.
Oh, okay.
This.
That's why I just wanted to make.
Well, we did talk about it for about a year,
Yep.
just a little bit, but we haven't done
we
as
talked
much
about
as we
it.
should.
And there have been a lot of different things that we've heard from our attorney where some of these things get shot down.
Yeah, it's lightly.
So we are taking another visit, another shot at it. I would, if you're seeing that on private property,
No, well, I see it on private property, but I'm seeing it right in the middle of
Right.
Bass Lake Road
Yep.
going eastbound. Maybe.
that's us.
Yep.
But if it's private property, you may want to address the people who own that property. They may be able to
Oh,
help.
I addressed the person that was doing it. They won't be doing it anymore. I can tell you that.
Okay, I'm talking about
That got
the people
taken
who
care of.
own
That
the
got taken care
property.
of.
The people who own the property have more latitude actually than we have, so.
Yeah, I went and talked to the bank manager when I saw that
Awesome.
last time. That got taken care of.
Good.
The other issue I had, which I talked to Julie about, was snow removal.
Yep.
So this past one, I don't know what you people saw and you people saw, but I know what I saw in my driveway between two snowfalls was well over 3.5, maybe 4 inches on 2 snowfalls in 2 days. I saw Elmhurst get plowed from, Bass Lake Road all the way to, I think, 60th or maybe 62nd or wherever it goes. And why is that road always plowed? Is it because it's a state aid road?
Julie?
I don't know that, but I mean, we did address today, the snow
Roads look
plowing.
terrible. I've got neighbors to talk with.
Yeah, and that's gonna be, when the temperature gets up to like 30 or something this week, they're gonna send out plows to do all the side streets.
Oh, okay. So
And
that
clean
is
'em up.
addressed.
Generally speaking, at 1.5 inches or so, they don't send them
I
out.
understand that, but I thought between two days of.
Yep,
2.5.
me too, and I thought the same thing. I think sometimes a little bit too, it's expensive to do a full plow.
I understand that.
If the roads are passable, they kind of focus their energy on the main roads and keeping the hills and stuff salted and sanded.
I just
Mark
wondering
speaks
why-
a lot more eloquently
I'm just
than me,
wondering why
but-
Elmhurst is a priority. Is it because it's a state aid road?
Correct, and it's kind of the connector for that neighborhood.
So I'm asking you, is it because it's a state aid road? That's what I'm asking.
And I'm responding is because it's the connection and the way out of that neighborhood. So is it a state road because of that? Yes, but it's more because that's the way out to Bass Lake Road.
So state aid roads would be considered,
Minor collectors in the city.
they'd be considered a higher plow
Not all.
priority? Not all of them?
Not all.
Okay, all right, that's all I need.
Depends on traffic volume. That's the bigger factor.
All right, that's all I had the issue on was the two.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very
Yep,
much.
thank you for coming
your
in.
time. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, anybody else wishing to speak during open forum? Last chance. All right. I will close the open forum, and we will move on to public hearing. We continued the public hearing from our last meeting, and we will continue it at this time. And our financial director, Jean McGann, is here to address the council. So welcome, Jean.
Good evening. This evening, we're going to do a short presentation in regard to the 2020 overall city budget and the property tax levy. At the end of this evening, we will be asking the council to consider reviewing and adopting the final 2020 property tax levy and 2020 budget. And then after the final adoption, then we will, of course, be submitting all of the required forms to the county and the state. When the council is developing the budget, they're really taking into consideration the overall council goals, which are to create a thriving business community, develop fiscally sound financial policies and practices, and communicate those policies to the community, create strong neighborhoods, and build inclusive communities so that all feel welcome. As part of the overall budget objectives, the 2020 budget maintains our current service levels, and there is a very large focus on the future with a significant investment in capital. The utility rates will remain consistent with the 2018 utility rate study, and the overall property tax levy increase will be at 9.03%. If you look at the overall levy summary, the very first line item is indicating the general fund. With the general fund, we do have a 4.4% change from the adopted 2019 budget. The area I'd really like to focus your attention on, though, is the capital improvement funds. With the overall capital improvement funds, we have a 44% increase in the property tax levy directed to investing in the future for capital. So to put that in a little better context, the overall increase in the property tax levy of $597,000 is being directed towards capital. With that, the overall tax levy itself does once again have a 9.03% increase. Now, to break down the levy increase that's being directed towards capital, there really is a focus on all of the buildings within the city. So we do have $486,000 of the property tax levy increase being directed towards our buildings. Park improvements with the overall park master's plan that was approved, we do have $110,000 or almost $111,000 of the property tax levy increase being directed towards the parks within the city. Now, when you look at the overall revenue summary, if you look at the very bottom of the screen, we do have a change in revenue within the general fund of $537,581. And this equates to an overall revenue increase of 3.77%. I will get into the significant changes here in a moment. The projected property tax increase towards the general fund is $442,000. We do have an increase in some licenses and permits of about $16,000. Intergovernmental revenue, what this is we do have a decrease of $125,000, and this is due to the end of a 3-year COPS grant, as well as some other reduced funding for some different grants that the city did anticipate, and it was expected that we would have that decrease in revenue for 2020. The police and fire pension aid, we're projecting an increase of $17,000 for this aid. However, this is a pass-through, so as we go through the 2020 expenditure factors, we will see the same amount. Some other significant areas for our recreation and pool, we have about a $34,000 increase, and that's related to different programming within those areas. The community center, once again, this is related to programming. We'll see an increase in revenue of about $27,000. Interest earnings, we do expect an increase of about $26,000 there. And then there are some miscellaneous adjustments through different revenue accounts of about $52,000. When we're looking at our expenditures, once again, we have a $537,000 change in the general fund. And with that, it equates to 3.77%. Once again, I will go through the details of the major expenditure changes. Excuse me. Wages and benefits is seeing an increase of about $401,000. During 2020, there are 3 elections that the city is responsible for, and so that equals about $113,000 of costs. We also have some various decreases. The website was completed is completed at this point, so we do have a decrease in those expenses of $25,000. We also have some service contracts that are being reduced for $10,000 in administration. Legal fees are being reduced by $25,000. A large component of this is due to the comprehensive plan updates being complete. West Metro Fire, we have about a $50,000 increase there, strictly for maintenance of operations. And then we also have some decreases with different utilities, professional services, and miscellaneous type items of about $27,000. When we're looking at the overall tax rate calculation for the city, it is important to note that the city does participate within the fiscal disparities program. And within the fiscal disparities program, the city contributes about $1.3 million, but receives about $2.3 million from that pool. Now, what that means is fiscal disparities is actually a way for our metro communities to even out whether a city is a bedroom community, whether they have a large commercial industrial base, and things of that nature. So in this particular situation, the city of Crystal is a net winner within this allocation of dollars. Now, the way that works is that we have a certified levy of $12 million and the EDA levy of $282,000, which equals a local levy of $12.3 million. Now, what happens with this is that as the overall dollars are spread out over the community, the overall dollar amount that is spread out is actually reduced a bit because of the fiscal disparities formula. So if we look at the overall tax rates, the city tax rate in 2019 was at 48.77%. And because of the 9.03% increase in the overall property tax levy, as well as the increased tax capacity, there is just a minor increase in the overall tax rate, going from 48.77 to 49.21. The county, the school, and the other tax rates, those were taken from the county website based on the preliminary levy certifications that those different agencies have submitted. There are some various property tax relief programs out there. There is the homestead credit refund, there is a renter's refund, a special property tax refund, as well as a senior citizen property tax deferral program. The Minnesota Department of Revenue has a lot more information on these different programs, and I have both the website and the phone number for the Department of Revenue listed on the slide. At this point, I'd be happy to address any questions.
I have one. This tax rate calculation, one of those last slides you had, I always struggle with that calculation. My question is, in our discussions prior, we had an increase in fiscal disparities this year, how much we would receive. Mm-hmm. Is that number in this chart?
Yeah, you can look at, when you look at the gross numbers, the net numbers, it gets a little bit confusing, and I'd be happy to share all that information with you.
Okay, so I'm not going to see you.
You're not going to see everything
increase
on here because we're trying to keep it at a higher level to summarize things.
Okay. So the local levy there, that's reflecting.
Okay.
That's
What
help me
happens
out
with
with
this
it.
is
Thank
the certified levy of 12 million plus the EDA levy of 282,000. The local levy of the 12.3 million is then divided by the net tax capacity to come up with your actual tax rate.
Okay. So this is just a tax rate calculation, period.
Correct.
Thank you. That's why it's so confusing. You got to read it.
Exactly.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Jean. Go ahead, Julie.
I do actually have one, and this is on the senior citizen property tax deferral.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a senior citizen and you're struggling to pay your property taxes, you can defer that payment. But it doesn't go away. I mean, at some point.
That is correct.
that'll
It
hit
does
the
not
metal.
go
They're
away.
going to have to pay it, right?
Correct.
So why is that program there then? To help people stay in their homes, and then maybe when they sell it or something, it gets paid back, or how does that work?
I don't know the reasoning behind the establishment of the program. However, the Department of Revenue will, assist and walk people through these different types of programs that are available.
And they would call Hennepin County to
No,
talk
they-
about that? Or who would they
Department of
call?
Revenue.
Department of Revenue.
Correct.
All right. Any
Okay.
other questions for Jean? Okay. Before we go back into the public hearing piece, just a reminder that this particular budget, when you look at your estimated tax amount for the city of Crystal, that change, it's going to be roughly half it'll be half of what is displayed on that estimated tax.
Just for the Crystal portion?
Just for the
though.
Crystal portion.
That's important to say,
Yep.
because,
And I did, yep.
okay.
So I don't know if anybody has an easier way to say that, more clear way of saying that. But yeah, we did have a major adjustment from what happened in September to where we are now. So it's cut in half for the Crystal portion. All right. At this point in time, we'll continue with the public hearing for testimony. Is there anybody here wishing to speak for or give testimony for the open part? Seeing nobody. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mayor, Council, Bert Org, 6767 North. I just have a little bit of a query. I was able to survey the inset in the Sunday paper that had a comparison of more or less all of the tax rates and the implied increases percentage-wise across the city and various counties. And even though ours was a little on the higher side, it wasn't unusual. It was in the median, more or less, comparatively. My question is with regard to the capital account. You mentioned before, and staff has mentioned, that the expected costs of services for infrastructure and other needs in the future sort of will rise by 5% or so every time we seek a bid for it. My concern is looking down the future is if we're accumulating this capital account now, does that in turn mean that we use it as needed as we go along? And this may result in risk for people in the future, say 10 or 20 years down the line, as you're accumulating this capital account money, so that will they be able to escape assessment by the capital account not being sufficiently funded, having the pay-go occurring previously? Do you understand where I'm going with this?
I think I understand your question.
Okay.
Let me try to bounce it back to you, make sure make sure I understand it right. So what you're saying is you want to know if we are increasing capital enough to stave off any type of assessments in the future.
No, I understand why you're doing it, and I'm not at all, I have no problem with the tax increase relative to the valuation based upon the median income and the percentage increase. I understand that part of it. My concern is that, say, everything costs more as we go along.
Right.
You know, I always look at risk as a matter of course, stock market being a good example of risk. So if you're, say, 10 years down the line and you've already spent the money in the capital account, even the accumulated funds that have accrued to settle issues with infrastructure or other city needs, will these future people, which is, I'm usually referring to the north side because the south side got their streets fixed first. The north side's got their streets fixed last. I mean, are we going to be stuck in a risky position of having to maybe deal with assessments to resolve the amount of money to settle the issues, the amount of money that we would need in case there is an assessment? You understand what I mean? It's a policy understanding, as the way I look at it.
So let me try to answer it. I'm not sure I fully understand your question, but just stand by and let's give it a shot. We do need to increase the amounts that we give towards capital. We're trying to do it in we've done it in 3 different ways. Increase in levy. We've done it by increasing some of the costs inside of our utilities, because when it comes to doing the utility improvements during our next street reconstruction, that the utilities need to be a contributing partner to that. But we are also, 1 was what? Levy, 2 was utilities. 3 is we're trying to apply some of the income that we get from LGA and financial disparities. Any increases we may have on that, we're trying to apply directly to capital. Because to your point, it's not only the increase in expenses for capital as we move forward. I think Gene had gone through and done an analysis that takes that 25 years worth of assessments, which was at $40 million, and using a 3% increase, not the 5% increase, it was at $40 million. Now, as we move forward, we're not going to start, real heavy doing street reconstructions for the utilities for probably, I don't know, what is it? We're starting almost immediately, but a little bit at a time. As we get 10 years down the road, it's going to increase more because we're starting to actually see the end of the life of some of those. Right now, what we're dealing with are spots that either had poor construction materials. We've been able to identify some early places where that occurred, or some of them have poor soils underneath.
Right.
So those are failing faster than what the stated useful life.
You mentioned that the last time.
So with that, I think in the last couple meetings that we've had in this council, we've been kind of beating the drum where we have to do something, because we don't want that elimination of assessments to turn into an inadvertent, in today's dollars, $60 million tax cut. that's equivalent to $2.4 million a year over 25 years. We need to make that up. We need to make it up. We've made some up in the utilities, like I referred to. We're doing a little bit in levy this year, but if you believe that your costs are going to increase by 5%, that's just an estimate. That's a number that was thrown out for a construction project that we have pending. Then we fell behind this year. So over time, I don't believe that it's going to be 5% increase. So we are going to have to make some serious inroads in trying to increase our capital. Oftentimes, some of the discussions we've had were about, we do a cost of living increase, and we do a cost of living increase for wages, benefits, and some of the operational expenses. But we don't do a 3% cost of living increase in capital. That's something that I'm hoping in the next year. We're doing a budget for 2 years. I'm trying to change the way we do that so that we do have that automatic accelerator for our capital. Otherwise, we will for sure fall behind.
I certainly agree with you, Mayor, and I'm just hopeful that this kind of explanation goes forward and is readily understood. I mean, I'm not against it. I just want people to understand that, if you want to live in a great community, as we have here in Crystal, that we have some controls in place going forward that manage this whole process. So I appreciate your explanation.
Okay, that kind of answered what you were asking?
I kind of knew that. Thank you.
Okay. You're a rock star. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Okay, so we've spoken about it a couple times. That's great. Where are we at? Testimony. Any other testimony? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing for testimony and looking for some council action on a resolution. Nancy?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2020 property tax levy, the 2020 Economic Development Authority property tax levy, and the 2020 budget.
All right, looking for a second. Olga?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Or nay. I don't know where no came from. I never say no. I always say nay. All right. Let's move on to our regular agenda. First item is, as always, expenditures of $25,000 or greater. First item is Center for Energy and Environment for home improvement loans. That cost is for October, $36,618. Golden Valley Joint Water Commission, $151,361. Landscape Structures for final payment for Becker Park surfacing costs, $247,605. West Metro Fire Rescue District for November contributions to West Metro Fire. I think I said that goofy. November contributions to West Metro Fire is $100,522. And then Dodge of Burnsville for replacement of police vehicle number 205, $29,684. West Metro Fire Rescue District for December contributions, $100,522. Minnesota Para for the pay date 11/29 employee and city required contributions, $59,836. Health Partners for December health insurance premiums of $103,064. Total disbursements of $25,000 or greater are $829,214.18. Council, are there any questions on any one of these items?
I just have one question.
Go ahead, John.
In regards to the replacement of the police vehicle number 205, I thought we got that from we were buying them from another dealership previously, correct?
We were. So we were buying them from Ford. We still are buying our patrol vehicles from Ford.
Okay.
However, two of our ancillary vehicles that you approved for us to purchase this past January, Ford told us that because they were changing the body style of the 2019 Fords, that they don't know when we were going to be getting in the 2019 Fords, that it might not come in until later next year. So because they were ancillary vehicles, we decided to go with two Dodge. You'll see one here tonight and one on the next month's agenda. And thankfully, these vehicles were less than what you approved. So it's good news.
Saving money.
Very good, thank you.
Gotta
That's
love
what
it.
we're doing for you.
So we're going to get a 2019 vehicle in 2020?
Not anymore. We got the 2019 Dodges, one this week and one hopefully next week.
Okay, great, awesome. Any other questions? All right, looking for a motion. Olga,
I move approval.
all right. Looking for a second. Julie?
I'll second.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Kim Terrace is here. She's our Assistant City Manager, and she is going to be talking about networking equipment. Welcome.
I know, how exciting, right, for the last item of the year.
Yes.
So we have a number of network switches, computer network switches and related equipment that we need to purchase for our IT services. Usually we buy those here and there one at a time. However, this year what we're going to do is bundle them all together, the purchases for 2019 as well as the purchases for 2020 that we had planned in our long-term plan. By doing this, we are going to be able to save approximately $11,000. And we recommend approval.
Any questions for Kim?
Oh, rightly so, though. Oh, thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Brendan.
I make a motion to approve the resolution, approving the purchase of replacement network hardware documented in the capital replacement plan.
All right, thank you, Brendan.
I'll
Nancy?
second.
Thank you. Questions?
I just, I don't always quite understand all of the network and the hardware. And I'm sure there's a reason that you're buying it. But, for myself, when I get a computer at home, I might last 3 or 4 or 5 years before I replace it. So why is it that cities always have to have the latest and greatest? Even in the business world, we would go years without replacing our computer.
And we do go years without replacing this type of equipment. It's usually, like you said, a 4 or 5 year. We also need to do it because it is to keep updated and for safety and security, computer safety and security. Oh, he has some.
Brendan.
I was going to say, the city of New Orleans just got attacked by a huge cyber ransomware thing that completely shut down all of their city services because they haven't been updating their stuff.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate.
It's been happening all over the country.
And a lot of a lot of times the network switches are not supported anymore. And so if there's updates that need to be done for security updates, then we could be open to.
I kind of figured it's something like that, but I just, there's a lot of people sometimes that say, well, you guys just get new stuff just to get new stuff because it's on the 10-year plan or the 5-year plan. So, people have a right to know why we buy these things at times. So that's part of my reason for my question.
Thank you, Julie.
But
All right.
good case in point.
Yes.
All right. Anything else on that? All right. Did we vote?
No.
We're in question mode. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
I was ready to just kind of go right into announcements, but that was not right. Crystal Business Association meets Wednesday, December 18th at 8:30 a.m. at Pizza Ranch. I believe that's tomorrow. City offices will be closed December 24th and 25th in observation of Christmas and Christmas Eve holidays. City offices will be closed January 1st for observation of New Year's Day holiday. The next Crystal City Council meeting will be in 2020, January 7th at 7 p.m. here at City Hall. And a reminder that local organizations are invited to lead the Pledge of Allegiance at any City Council meeting. Just contact staff for more information and they will help get that set up. City Council meetings and work sessions are open to the public. You're welcome to come, or else you can find them on our Crystal website, crystalmn.gov. And that's all the announcements I have written. Are there any more, Julie?
Go ahead, he was first.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, it was getting dark. Well, it was on the city Facebook page, and wanted to commend our Public Works Director, City Engineer Mark Ray, for. You mind telling us what elaborating on this. It's a big deal. I know you don't like, but and you also have the great mustard-colored pants.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so I was nominated by a variety of people across the country for my work in trying to just improve the coordination and collaboration between Public Works and some of our amazing fire and police staff who also nominated me. Because I told them to. So yeah, no, it's just a great time to be there and be recognized with the other people that received awards that evening as well.
Congratulations.
All right.
Congratulations.
Good.
All right. Oh my gosh. Julie.
Okay. As many people know, but we have a group in our quad communities Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. And the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon is a program that the cities of Crystal, Robbinsdale, New Hope, and Golden Valley, we collaborate together with businesses, law enforcement, community members, and we are here to support veterans no matter when their service was, if they're recently returning home or they're a veteran's widow, any number of reasons. But we have a fundraiser once a year, and it's where we raise funds. 100% of the funds do go back to support military people in our communities that run into hardships. And I'm telling you, we've gotten a lot of calls this last few weeks. There was a veteran's widow that was so poor she couldn't even afford butter and potatoes for her Thanksgiving meal. We've had a disabled veteran that was doing fine snow plowing, but she's fallen and hurt herself, and she can't. So we do a lot of things to help these veterans just get over the rough spots. And without people coming out to this bowling fundraiser, we wouldn't be able to provide these services for the veterans in our community. So this year, and there will be more information coming out, but just kind of save the date, Sunday, January 19th. It's always at Doyle's, and it starts at 10:30. We bowl for 2 games, and then we migrate over to the Crystal VFW, where we have a bunch of raffles.
Doyle's?
I'm sorry. Well, it was at Doyle's. Now that's a church.
Go Sunday to Doyle's and
Yeah. All right.
go to church.
My apologies. New Hope Bowl. See, I've been working on this fundraiser for so long, I'm used to saying Doyle's.
That's right.
But we'll send out flyers. We'll have it on the city's social media, and I'll post it and stuff. But, it's not a lot of time. If you can just come out for a couple hours and help support the cause, it would really be appreciated. So,
all right.
Thank you.
Question, Julie?
Yep.
If I could, are you accepting donations
Oh,
for
yes,
raffle?
please.
So that's another way people can help.
Yeah. Some people make gift baskets.
Yeah.
And we raffle those off. It's kind of a fun day, really.
Very fun.
So, and again, we'll have the Robbinsdale one, kind of the city bowl off last year. And so Nancy, I think, bowled in your absence.
Did you?
Yeah, I got a gutter ball.
Oh.
But I did spare. I did.
Yeah, she
make up
did
for
come
it.
back and spare, but of course,
don't know.
George Selman nailed it.
Brendan, do you bowl? No. You do? All right. See, we've not beat Robbinsdale since we've been doing it, so I
That's because of George.
probably bring you in and
Yeah.
see what happens.
We need a ringer.
I took a college class.
Yeah, I took a college class. Oh, boy. I was hoping for a higher bar than that, but here we go. All right. Looking for a motion. John?
So moved.
Thank you. Nancy?
I'll second.
All right. We are adjourned. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.
All right.